Hello everyone and welcome to Farming Simulator 22. We're going to be starting up a survival challenge on Western Wilds. Let me roll through a couple of the settings here just so you guys can see what we're working with. We'll start on timescale with 6 times, hard economic difficulty, 2-day seasons, and crop destruction, plowing, fieldstones, weeds. We'll keep all of that stuff on. Fuel usage will be high, and we'll go from there. Now, as you can see, we're going to be playing in multiplayer. This just helps separate our farm and the city that we are going to be building along the way. That way we can't use their vehicles and stuff that we are going to be purchasing just for the roleplay aspect. We start out with a $100,000 loan. That's why we are going to start with 15 grand. Now the difference here is we do not have any equipment bought previously. So we're going to have to buy all of our starting equipment before we leave the shop here. We can open up the map and we'll show you that $85,000 of that was used to purchase field number 34. I think it's a good place for us to start. It's a decent amount of forest as well as open areas and right in the center of the map, so we don't need to travel too far to get to any of the sell points. With that, we'll go ahead and jump into it. First thing that we're going to do is purchase our starting equipment. I haven't looked through any of the used vehicles. Most of them look to be 1, out of budget, and 2, not of use for us at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and go through here and select a starting tractor. I do believe that there's a John Deere down here that's pretty cheap for what it has for horsepower. Now the downside to that one being there is no attachments for it, so it's going to be a good starting tractor, but will eventually have to be upgraded to something different. So we'll go ahead and grab that. As well as a trailer. Now, was one on the mod hub that looked pretty good. This guy here. Now it is a little bit on the spendy side, more than I would want to spend for a trailer, but it will work for multiple different jobs. The log fork being, or the log rack, sorry, is a good starting point for us. Most of our money to start with is probably going to have to come from logging. So we'll go ahead and grab that guy, which leaves us $650 to purchase a chainsaw. Again, Mod Hub had one that was a little bit older and right within our price range. So we'll go ahead and pick that guy up as well. Okay, and there we go. Here's our equipment. Just a quick announcement, as I'm sure you guys have already noticed, we're going to be playing on PlayStation. So many of the mods that you'll see in other series we don't have access to. So we'll be doing our best with what we can. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and drive us over to our plot of land. We'll see you guys once we get there. Alright, so we're getting pretty close to our plot of land here. We're going to take a look and see what we're going to start off with. Just as of note, currently video quality, audio quality, and all that stuff is probably going to be a little on the lacking side, as the setup we're running with currently is lacking. I will be purchasing equipment to better all of the recordings, and hopefully we're going to go from there. But yeah, you can see we've got pretty open expanse of grassland here, as well as a forest on each side. So let's go ahead and shut this guy off, and we'll go take a look here. Now, one of the mods that we don't have access to for PlayStation is Super Strength. which, as far as a roleplay aspect goes, not the greatest thing to have. But what that does mean is all of the trees that are larger here are going to be a little bit more difficult for us to harvest and make money on. Just because we're not going to be able to lift most of the logs that we would cut down. So with that, it is going to take a little while to start clearing out these forests. I think I will start on the north side here and just start cutting down some trees. We'll go ahead and get that started. Let me know how you guys want to do this. We can either do time lapses or I can just cut the video. For now, we're just going to cut the video. Seems to be a better option here. And I'll bring you guys back in when we go to unload stuff and when something interesting happens. Other than that, we'll go ahead and end the video right here and bring you guys back once we get that trailer over there fully loaded. Alright, welcome back guys. It has been too long. Not a whole lot fits on this trailer as far as, well, logs, especially the way we have to cut them. This is actually only one tree and then maybe 3 or 4 little ones, looks like, on the bottom there. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and open the menu here and see where the best price to sell this stuff is at. Let's see here. Down to wood, and looks like the train yard by far is the best place to sell this stuff at. So let's go ahead and drive over there. Now the train yard on this map is just on the west side of the border, so we'll go ahead and drive along this way. Give that a close. As far as the plan so far we've got is probably get rid of most of the forest on the north side there, and then look at maybe getting a mower, if we can find one cheap in the used lot, that is. If not, we will have to look at a couple different options. Mowing is a little bit more expensive to start up with, but will definitely help us in the long run keep the series moving at a decent pace. Otherwise, will just take too long to do stuff, and that doesn't seem like a lot of fun for me or for anybody watching. And we're getting pretty close here. Now, as far as mods go, I do have quite a few downloaded here. If anyone's interested, we can take a look at that list at a later date. If not, that's fine too. We'll just roll with what we're doing. Here we go. And I believe the wood gets sold off to the left-hand side here. Looks like the place. Shut that off. Let's see what the efforts will bring us. 4,159. Not bad for only one tree. A few more of those going, and we won't have to log very much. Now, I don't want to make all of the money that we have off of logging, and I don't really want to feature that over and over. So the less time we spend cutting down trees, the better. So we're gonna hopefully get what we need for money and then be able to switch jobs. Go ahead and stop here, take a look at what we're gonna need. Again, nothing in there. Hasn't been long enough to switch that out. As far as mowers go, if we go with something that connects to the tractor, we can't get anything for this one that would connect to the front because we don't have any attachments up there. I think 85 horsepower. We have 50, but I do believe we could still run this. It might just be a little bit slower, so we're looking at 20 grand for 4-meter working width, 18 for 4.4. However, I don't know if we'd be able to pick this up. So we don't have any front weight, and I don't believe we can get any either, so this might tip the tractor backwards. That we have currently, anyway. If something comes up in the sale, we could possibly switch tractors, but for now, we're just going to have to plan for what we have. 149 is definitely out of budget. We do have this guy, 2100. It's 100 horsepower. That's double what we have. I don't think we'd be able to run that, so we're going to have to skip looking at that for now. Looks like the only thing that we could go with currently is the 4140L. So that'd be 20,500 just for that. Now we would be just mowing the field as it sits for now instead of trying to plant anything. I know planting would... there's the train. I know planting would definitely get us more, but for now the amount of equipment that we have to buy just to get there is a little on the spendy side. So again, working with what we got. Windrower would be good to have, depending upon the baler that we get. We get 22,000 for this guy. It's 120 centimeter bales. Now I do have downloaded Krone, I believe. Yes, the Krone Big Pack. Now, it's 180, 240 centimeter bales. It is much cheaper. Now, looking at the horsepower, though, I don't think we'd be able to run this guy. So, we'd be looking at potentially... it'd have to be this guy. 50 horsepower, that's what we could run, so we were looking at 22 grand for that. So that and the mower just alone is going to be 42,000 just to get started. Now the pickup width is not listed. Interesting. Is it in the description possibly? There is no description. Good. Okay. So windrower would probably be definitely beneficial. What is the mower width again? Go ahead and take a look at that. It was 4 meters. So in order to pick up the rows and save us time, we'd want to get something that is going to be at least a 4-meter working width, potentially more. Is 4.7, that's not bad for 8100. Let's take a look at something else. 6.3, but that's 20, so that's, again, trying to cut the cost as much as we can. Looks like that would be it. I'll go ahead and take that into account. We can just go ahead and get the calculator out just to do some quick math here. What did we say? 20,500 plus 22,000 for the baler, plus that would be 8,100. We're looking at 50 grand. That is getting up there really quick. Now that would get the bales. We don't have anything to pick them up currently. Now we'd have to either get a tractor with a front loader attachment or possibly a bale loader. Now I think the bale loader is probably going to be a cheaper option to go with. That being said, I haven't actually looked through here to see what we'd be working with, so it might be cheaper to get a tractor and a, let's see here, 37,000 for that. That is probably much more expensive than buying a tractor. We already have a trailer, so we wouldn't necessarily need a trailer. We could just use the one we have and take the log racks off. So 38,000 for a bale picker. And the tractors now, I believe the cheapest option that we have here is AC Ferguson. Yes, it would be this guy. So 18,000 with front load is 750, so that puts us at 18,750. And then we would then, of course, need front load attacher, which I believe that one, yeah, 5,400 is probably the cheapest one that we have. Recommended horsepower of 130 though, so I'm not entirely certain that that would be able to pick that up. I have not tried it, so we better go down with the Q3. That's 60 horsepower, which I believe is what that tractor is rated at. Go ahead and take a look, because I was not paying attention when we looked through here the first time. That's 58 to start with. Of course, we could get a bigger motor, but 58 is good. So we'll go ahead and set up with the quickie plus a fork. Now, go in here and look at stole bale spike is 600, another 600. So in total, we're looking at 76,950 just to get set up to start cutting grass. Now, we don't have to obviously purchase all of this all at once. We could purchase it in stages. And that's a lot of trees to cut down just to start. So it may be a better decision to possibly plow and cultivate a field. I do know that, again, harvesters are quite expensive. If you go in here, I believe, yeah, it says 75 grand. Looks like that might be the cheapest one we have in the real. Down to 56. $50. Now that's a decent deal. There is also, of course, this guy. I have used this once in the past. It takes a very long time to do anything. The head's not very large, and you're going to have to unload the thing constantly. So I'd prefer not to use that one if possible. But if we need to, that is one of the options we have. So go ahead and open that menu back up here. Let's assume we're going to use the Starliner to start with, 50,000. It's a 5,200 liter carrying capacity. That's not bad. That comes with the grain head. It'd be 15,000 for that. Yeah, so we're looking at 65,000 just for the harvester itself. That doesn't include the seeders and everything. So I believe the grass is going to be the cheaper route to start off with. So how far a field goes over here. We might own most of these trees. Let's take a look. Yep, we can cut that. Possibly these guys. Excuse me. Yes, yeah. So we can cut all of this. Possibly that guy as well. Of course, once we get this cut, we'll have to get a mulcher out here and get rid of, yeah. So we cannot cut that one, but everything to the right of us we can. So we'll look at that, and we'll continue to cut trees. Now, hopefully some of the equipment that we need comes up in sale. Again, currently there's not enough time to have gone by to add anything. Oh, take that back. I think this is an add-on. Not useful for us at the current moment, but there it is. We'll continue to cut trees here and try to work up the amount of money that we need. Now, another way that we could make money is to add some of the passive income items. So we'll go ahead and look at the productions that we have. A greenhouse would be a good start. They're not super expensive to get up off the ground and rolling. Of course, again, in order to load all of the pallets, we're going to need a front loader. So maybe the first thing that we should do is look at upgrading the tractor that we currently have. Now, it hasn't been long since we've had it, but it will quickly outlive its usefulness, especially with the Macy being so cheap and a better horsepower, and it has front load attacher. We could possibly trade this in, so in order to get that tractor, we would need, again, 18.5 just for the purchase of the tractor. Now, I believe we could trade this one back in that we currently have for 5 to 6 grand. So we'd need to get 12 grand off of the lumber currently just to upgrade the tractor, which is probably going to be the first route that we're going to go. And then we can looking at these greenhouses here. These all require a load of things just to get running. So we're probably going to go with the base game ones to start off with. Large ones would be preferred. I think they do produce things at a quicker rate, as well as hold more water, so we wouldn't have to constantly go back and forth. I have tried this in the past. We cannot fill water tanks from this stream, unfortunately. It would definitely be a big help if we could, but we're going to have to drive over to the train station at the lake just to fill the water tanks. That's not a big deal. It's just much farther than our backyard for water. So we'd probably look at getting, again, these larger greenhouses. Generators is another way we could go. They take a while to pay off, so we'll probably skip that for now. Possibly come back in the future to getting these things put in. We will not be using government subsidiaries at all. These are just in here for other games that I play. So we're not going to use any of that stuff either. Now, as far as roleplay aspect, I do want to start building a town. We'll put businesses that make sense in here as we go. Now, most of you should be familiar with Alien Gym and the Western Wilds map by now. It's been out for a while. So you can also just take a look at the map real quick here. There's not much in here for buildings. Well, there's almost nothing in here really. So we have a pretty open, wide expanse to start building a city. And we'll add businesses that make sense first. Now, I do believe that if you look off to the north at the store, there is a main highway here. So it's not like we're just out in the middle of nowhere and no one would ever think to build here. But that being said, it's a big open expanse. So we're going to want to choose a starting location for the city to start. I'm thinking probably up in the northern corner here. It'll be a lot easier to terraform and do all that stuff without having to cut down forests. So let me know what you guys think, and we will add businesses as the suggestions come in. But for now, we'll get back to cutting trees. I'll take you guys along for this journey this time. We'll see about trying to set up a time lapse, and if not, we'll cut this part out. But if we can we'll leave it in. So I'll go ahead and leave you guys here. This will either be a time lapse or a video cut, depending upon what I can figure out. So we'll see you guys once the trailer is loaded up again. And this is why you always look where you're going to put a tree before you cut it down. Hopefully most of that stuff doesn't fall off when we maneuver some of the stuff around, but this is not my best work here. Also, hopefully that trailer doesn't get damaged from doing this. But hopefully, you guys are alright with time lapses and stuff. I know forestry gets a little repetitive while you're running through it. So this is one of the reasons why I want to try to do as little as possible. I will probably do a lot of this stuff off camera as well, just so that we're not, watching me cut trees down for 2 hours. But yeah, anyway, let me go ahead. We'll get this this tree cleaned up here. We'll get it on the trailer and we'll drive it on over and sell it. this off to the train yard. It is quite full. In fact, I'm very certain that this would be way overweight, and there might be some broken bits down there. Leaf springs would no longer be leaf springs, they'd be rainbows. But we'll ignore that for now. Just gotta find an open space to chuck this guy in here. Can't. There we go. Stick him right there. He's gonna fall right back off. Maybe if we climb up there, we might be able to get a better vantage point at what we're looking at. Go. Set him right there. Good. Tie everything down, make sure that it's not gonna go anywhere. And off to the train station. Now, luckily this map is mostly flat, so we are still able to pull this, but that's a lot of weight, and I'm sure that if there was any hill, we'd probably still be at the bottom of it. Yeah, so I'm going to try to keep the episodes fairly short, maybe around the 25 to 30 minute mark. So we'll go ahead and get this stuff sold. We'll see what we have left in the bank. I will probably clear a large chunk of that forest out off camera. Like I said, I don't want to time-lapse an entire video of me cutting down trees, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me cut down trees for 3 or 4 episodes. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of that stuff done off camera. I will make sure that anything that we buy, you guys see as it happens. It's definitely top heavy here. We're kind of going back and forth here. But anyway, like I said, with the plan here, I'm pretty sure we're going to start with greenhouses just to get that passive income going. Gonna bounce around the back of the tractor there. I will get that passive income going with the greenhouses, and after that we will probably look at getting some equipment to start cutting and baling up grass and hay so we can get that shipped off to the store. If you guys have any suggestions on what the first business to add in... hello. Kind of slow that down a little bit. What was I saying? Anyway, yeah, if you guys have any ideas on what the first business should be that we add to the map, go ahead and put it in the comments. And we will get that added. Stop. Wow, that's a lot of weight. Didn't want to stop. Anyway, what do we got? 7,600. So we're getting close to being able to afford that next tractor. As I said, that's purchase number 1. Once we get that done, we can move on to the greenhouses. So anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here, guys. Go ahead, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you want to see more of this series. Again, I'm going to try to get some recording equipment bought and set up here within the next few weeks so that the episodes and everything have a little bit better quality. So go ahead and leave it here. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.